Well, go on, everybody. Lennox here from Simple 123 Trader. This is the playbook for the weekly playbook outlook for the week of August 29th to September 3rd. Hope everybody's doing well and are safe. Taking a look at the futures, looking at the Australian dollar through to the US technology group in the stock market. And starting with Aussie, uh, Aussie on the monthly time frame, looking like it wants to make a little push to the upside here in the short term, and it is doing that, just that. So next move for this, looking at the for the week, we're looking at one bar for the week, of course. We'll go down to the daily and take a look. You can see it is trying to push up, but I think that it's going to be short-lived, and we'll be heading back down. So uh, what I'm seeing here controlling this move is a short-term move to the upside here. We might go a little higher, but any push to the upside is just opportunity to sell the Aussie dollar. Okay, so weakness in the Aussie dollar overall for the week. Taking a look at Bitcoin, we'll go to the monthly on that one as well, and has pushed up quite a bit to the 50,000 mark as was expected, and might be out of steam at this point now. And looking at what's setting up for this week, um, you can see here that indeed we pushed up quite a bit, and we still might have one final push that will take us a little higher, maybe back up and perhaps up into this area, into 58,000. It's totally possible. So I'm going to give Bitcoin a little bit of strength going into this week for one more push to the upside, but that might be it. Okay. Of course, if we are wrong with that, then any breach of this low and we're heading back down in a hurry. But it looks like we should push one more time to the upside. Okay. Crude oil on the monthly as well. Okay, crude oil had quite the pullback the last week, and you can see that on the weekly we pulled back, but is now looking to push back to the upside. And there is still some strength left, and we'll get more strength going into this week to the upside for crude oil, more than likely. The Canadian dollar, I'm just going to start on the weekly instead of going all the way to the monthly. Canadian dollar, big pullback on that one as well, but now this week looks like we should be pushing back to the upside, and it looks like it might be running out of steam as well. And again, the controlling move here, we again might come up a little bit, but more than likely we're going to be heading down to test the lows again. So weakness in the Canadian dollar, the US dollar on the weekly. Okay, still hovering around this area here, and looks like we're going to be uh, heading to the downside this week as well with the US dollar on the daily. Nice move to the upside, but it looks like we're done. We might get a short-term push to the upside, but that will be short-lived, and we'll be heading back down again. Weakness. So maybe a bit of short-term strength, but overall, look for weakness in the US dollar. Looking at the euro. So if that's the case for the euro weekly, we should get a bounce on the euro. Okay, if that's the case for if the US dollar is heading to the downside, we'll get a push to the upside for the euro. And that's what it looks like it's setting up right now. So we could get a move back down first, and then we'll get a push to the upside after. So watch for that. On the Swiss franc, let's go to the Swiss franc. Swiss franc, I'm going to go to the monthly on this one just to make sure I get a good look. Okay, so monthly, um, it's still pushing to the upside overall. So on the monthly, what I'm seeing overall, we have a huge move that's taken place here. Also, big move taking place, and now we could be pushing to the upside again to breach and reach this previous resistance area. Okay, so right now that's on the monthly. On the weekly, you can see it's starting to push to the upside. So we could, of course, get a little bit of a pullback first, but overall, the strength in the Swiss franc right now, and I'll be looking for continued strength. Any breach of this low, of course, and all bets are off, but it looks right now like we should continue to the upside, at least in the long term. Gold. Take a look at gold if we can switch that over. And it's taking its time on me here now. Bear with me a second. Okay, I had to skip gold for now. It just does not want to come up. So Japanese yen on the weekly time frame is trying to mount a move to the upside as well. On the daily, we're kind of sideways. So, we're inside of a trench going this way, a channel going this way. So we could get a push back up in the short term. So we'll go with that, a little bit of strength in the Japanese yen in the short term. But we're inside of a channel that could see us push lower over time. Let's take a look at the New Zealand dollar, and on the weekly, New Zealand dollar now looking to push back, just similar to what the Aussie is doing. Remember, we have head and shoulders here, and once we break that neckline, we're heading down. But it's this push back up. We could come back up to this area before we get a push down. But right now, there is a little bit of strength, albeit it might be a short-lived, because we're right the same as the Aussie. We're right at that point where we could be now turning back to the downside. So looking for weakness in New Zealand and Aussie, Euro, GBP probably. When we'll take a look at that in a moment. This is the Mexican peso, and on the monthly on Mexican peso is still trying to push to the upside. On the weekly, still trying to get to this resistance area. It's having a hard time making it up there. But right now, it's looking like it's ready for a good push back up to this area. So short term, at least, strength in the Mexican peso. Take a look at the British pound. Monthly, looking pretty strong there for a continued push to the upside. So it's really trying right here. We don't have a head and shoulders like the other pairs. On the daily, it's trying very hard to push back to the upside. So short term, we could get a continued strength in British pound. Okay, but if weakness continues in the US dollar, this will continue strong as well in the British pound. All right, taking a look at silver. And on the weekly with silver has been in a downward mode and looking to continue that move to the downside, perhaps this week. You can see that we've had a move to the downside here, but we're looking like we're going to continue down even further. It's trying to push back up, but don't think it has enough strength to do it. So I would look for continued weakness in silver. The Russell 2000. Let's go to the monthly. We'll look at Russell 2000. Still looking really strong. We're sitting at a position where it's trying to break through serious resistance here. This is a very, very serious point where it's at, and it looks like we're ready to continue the onslaught to the upside. So lots of strength there. It's going to again challenge these areas on the way up. So we're looking for strength in the US 2000 index. US 230, the Dow Jones, also very strong to the upside. I'm going to go to the weekly. Very strong, looking to break the new highs. Like I said from last week, we were more than likely going to challenge those new highs, and we're really getting there to break through. Looks like we're going to do that this week. We're going to break through to new highs. The S&P 500 also did break to new highs last week, and that's on the daily. There on the weekly, you can see just still continuing. Although you can see these bars are getting smaller and smaller. You see how we started off with long bars and and small big pullbacks here, and then now we're sort of getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So it's not boding well when you think about it. It's kind of like we're getting to the end of the line there, but it's still showing strength. So we have to go with what it's doing. But this we could be coming to imminently to a halt. So be aware of that. All right. U.S. Technology Group. Also, if I go to the weekly, you'll see this similar type. It's pushing very strongly to the upside, but it's still the bars are getting weak. And on the daily, we broke the new highs, and we could be getting very close to the end of this run. So be prepared for pullback. Again, it's possible this week, but in the short term, strength at least. Let me try gold one more time. See if we can get it this time. It's not going to give it to me. Oh, there we go. We got it. Okay, so monthly on the gold. Gold is trying very hard to push back to the upside. So it's very slow here on gold. Come on, gold. It says an invalid symbol. So let me look at it this way. Let's see if we can get it this way. There it is. So it's similar. So it's again pushing to the upside daily. This is gold versus US dollar, and it's just not giving it to me. Okay, so we're having a little problem with gold. Suffice it to say, it looks like gold is likely to push to the upside in the short term, at least this week. So, of course, any pullback would be opportunities to buy. So that's a look at what's setting up for the rest of the week. Profitable trading to everyone. For our 123 members, keep your eyes on the US dollar, and profitable trading to everyone. Be safe. I'm done now. Thank you.